All right, first question here. How do I how can I use organic social media to attract new customers?
So what we've been doing lately that's been working well has been getting with our existing customers. So we finished a job last week. The customer left us a 5-star Google review, so we know right then that she loved us. She was a fan. Um, we always do our closeout photos for social. Nice drone pictures or whatever. We asked her. We have a little script that our office lady is using now. Basically, it gives them some steps of you need to like us, follow us, and there's something else to where we can tag them in a post. And then they've been taking that and sharing it. And now their friends group they're basically giving us a Facebook referral through their own social channel to all of their friends. And it's been working well. I mean, those things are getting exceptionally more uh, traffic, like likes and shares and comments, than just our generic daily Facebook post.
So we get packaging it up in a way that allows them to share it.
Yes, yep. They have to be able to share it to where that way their friends are definitely seeing it, possibly liking it, maybe sharing it again. We have had that to where like the one got like 3 or 4 shares after the fact. So not only did his friends group or yeah, her friends group see it, but then 3 or 4 of that network shared it again. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that to me
Are
that's
you
the way to utilize social for referrals. You're basically getting a referral from your customer to their entire friends list by doing that.
Yeah. Do you have them when you say share, are you having them post it or are you posting it and then they're sharing it?
We're posting it and tagging them in it,
Okay.
and then they're sharing it.
Yeah. So posting job is videos, right?
Most of it's been
Photos.
photos, and then we do ask them to write some. If you would kind of write something up about your experience with us when you share it, because you can put a like comment above what they've shared, and that it's been. I mean, we're still trying to get the guys to kind of do it every time because we like in the last week I think we've got we're up to maybe 7 new 5-star Google reviews,
Yeah.
and every one of them we should be getting to do. It is a little funky. We get some people, especially people out in the country, they like literally tell you, please don't put my house on social media. So we do have that, but um, we should be getting at least a few a week that we could utilize this for.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I like it. So, I'll kind of throw in something that I've seen work. So that's a really good strategy there. Another thing that really works is um, with social media, oftentimes you're not going to get immediate conversions. It's a lot more about branding than it is about like long-term branding in your community than it is about getting immediate sales. And so all your content doesn't have to be about necessarily directly about roofing. You can definitely do like educational content around roofing. That's going to be really good. But also I've seen some really effective strategies around um like highlighting other businesses, like go and interview some like local restaurant owners or shop owners or other people in your community and like have your social be um, community focused, not just roofing focused, and use that to get kind of more shares and attention from the community in general. And that's all tied back to your name and your branding.
That's interesting because I actually put a post on the Roofing Insights Facebook group today about mass email and how to utilize that to better capture leads. And someone mentioned, using it to like do community updates. So like, yeah, maybe you're doing, a company update or like a company offering, but also like a short blog of the local community updates, like what's going on locally.
Yeah, I like that. That's right in that same lane. Like
Yeah,
be a commute, create value and be a community service through your social and through your email list. Since I mean, people, our whole lives are about roofing, but for the homeowner, it's like it's once, twice, maybe three times their entire life generally that they're thinking about roofing. So how can you appeal to them and engage them outside of those periods? Because most homeowners in your community are not in that little window. So,
right.
but you want to be the people the person, the company they think of when they do get there. Um, this is related. This question by David. So the question is, our insurance division is really strong, but we recently started a retail division doing re-roofs for a solar company. We do not want to rely completely on them for all of our leads. So what is the most effective way to go after getting more residential retail work? SEO, Facebook, ads, what's the best way?
For us, we had very little success at all with Facebook ads. What I was just talking about with organic Facebook seems to be kind of that sweet spot. It takes effort, but it's also free. So take some of your ad budget, put it into, maybe paying a VA or something, whatever, like, or figure out a way to make that work. Google LSA has been really big for us. It's slowed way down. It was rocking. I mean, honestly, a year ago, you didn't need another lead source. There were so many good qualified leads that came through that. We shut down all other marketing spend last year at one point because there was just so many coming through that were qualified at $20 a shot. I mean, it just made sense. So it's still good though. We still get 3 to 4 qualified leads a week from that. So that for us at our close rate, that's one job a week we get from that, that's fantastic. I'm paying about $100 for that one job right now, maybe 150 now, but still pretty solid return. Um, and then I think SEO. I'm just started Dima's program because we have a couple new locations that I want to try to fast track to the top. But in our small markets that we've been in forever, we rank pretty well. But we got there just by updating our Google on a regular basis. Adding photos daily. There's a section where you can add an update, whether that's a service offering, a special you're doing. You're going to knock off 30% off gutter guards for this month, whatever. Like it can just in reality, it can be pretty much BS too. Like, check out the new roof we did, call for your free quote, put a call now button on it, done. It doesn't have to be anything. No, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody ever looks at business updates in Google. I mean, not really. But Google recognizes you do it and they see the traffic to where they will start ranking you higher. And those are free. I mean, they take about 10 minutes a day, maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day to do. So those are things that we've found a lot of success, and then referrals. Referrals are always our biggest thing, and I think the social media referral is as good as a word of mouth referral. If someone's blasting you out on their Facebook, um, they just referred you to 1,000 people probably. So to me, that's kind of the best way to use Facebook is use it for referrals.
Yeah. Um, I mean the SEO piece cannot be understated. I mean that's if you can get a good SEO. Now, the problem is every market is different. So in some markets it's not worth it to go after SEO because it's already so saturated with other companies that are spending, if a company is spending with a good SEO firm $5,000 or $10,000 a month, you is very unlikely you're going to be able to catch up with them. And they might have been doing that for years. Very unlikely you're going to be able to catch up with them unless you're spending at least that amount. And even then, they're so far ahead because age is such a factor. It's really hard. But if the competition in your market is relatively low for SEO, then you 100% should be getting into position there. That's not necessarily a short-term play, But as you were saying, Scott, like there's a lot of low hanging fruit on the SEO side, especially if the competition is low. And I wanted to add, maybe I missed this, maybe you did say this, but the Google reviews, every time you get a Google review is also going to boost even more as you're getting Google reviews, it's going to push you. You get like a temporary boost in the map, like the map pack at the top of Google. And so if you don't, it's a whole other reason why reviews are so valuable. And not just your overall quantity, but the consistency at which you get them. So making sure you have like the review stuff in place. And that's not as generally as important if you're focused only on insurance. But if you're focused on retail, it's so critical. And with I was gonna say with Facebook ads, I agree with you, Scott. It's just really hard to make. It's not impossible. Some people have figured out. Again, and I think it depends on market, but it's really hard to actually get valuable leads from Facebook ads. But and I know you do this sometimes too, is like doing the boosts, taking and doing it just we were just talking a minute ago about social media that is value driven for your community. Maybe put 10, 20, $50 behind something that is not actually about roofing, but maybe it's about something that you're doing in your community, or a highlight on another local business. Put some money behind that just to get more exposure to it and get a wider audience to it. Again, more of a brand building thing. But so I would throw that on top.
I feel like the boosted posts always caught so much shit, but at the end of the day, I feel like that tool is made for local businesses. So if you're trying to operate a business in a specific area, that's what a boosted post is made for. If you're trying to sell a product regionally or nationally, that's what Facebook ads were built for. So like I believe that was lost somewhere along the way, and I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but that's how the boosted post thing works. You pick a mile radius from your location, and boom, you target that market, which is your office and the surrounding whatever,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Facebook ads are more geared to selling software, selling a product, selling, those things.
You can. I think it's a variety of things, but I think the boosted post, what I think what you're getting at, the boost, Facebook knows that they need to, on a relatively small budget, deliver meaningful impact and activity for that small business if they're going to boost the next post, because it's not like the spend is just running. And so I do agree with you. I think that for smaller spend amounts, you're going to get more bang for your buck out of the boost than you are out of the
Yes.
ads.
Yes, and I appreciate you correcting me on that because yeah, that's yeah, what you said is accurate.
But
That's what I was trying to say, but I'm
yeah,
not real articulate.
no. It's both accurate. I think that so you can use the regular Facebook ads for local businesses because you can dial it in that way. However, it's it's going to be more effective for something like a bakery shop that is trying to drive traffic in for some deal, because people are in the market for baked goods almost all the time, right? But not
Right.
for a roof all the time. And I think
Yeah.
that's the fundamental difference.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right. That makes good sense.
But yeah, it's tough. Any other stuff for David that we got, Scott, like for retail?
No, I mean here's the biggest one we've had success with is just it's being part of the community. Having your truck wrapped, putting your signs in the yard, um, hanging door hangers on the not we are canvassing now in a neighborhood, retail canvassing, not storm chasing because we don't have storms. But if we see some damage or just see that the roof looks old, we'll stop and knock on a door. Um, but everywhere else, that's one market. Everywhere else, we just hang like 20, 30 door hangers around job sites. Just those basics have gotten us so much work because nobody's really trying. Like nobody's putting the effort into that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think those are big things.
I want to shout out. I think all that is big. And you talking about door knocking just reminded me. I want to shout out Brad Akers, who's another partner of ours. And I mean, his whole method is about this is very focused on retail. And the I think a very important thing getting into retail is that um a little bit differently than insurance, you really need every single retail job to generate at least one additional retail job, ideally two or three. If you're trying to do retail just purely based on new leads, entirely new leads, where every new job is coming from new leads, you're going to spend so much in acquiring those leads that it's going to be very hard to be profitable from a net profit standpoint. But and so we've mostly been talking about how do you get leads in the top, but then you're just mentioning, Scott, the door knocking. I think door knocking around your jobs, super critical. Direct mail, and Dean, I see your question here talking about direct mail, so we'll talk about that in a second. But direct mail is around your jobs, like capitalizing around every jobs, and then layer that in, Scott, with what you're talking about creating a post that they can share. All these things start to stack, and so then maybe it's still relatively expensive to get the first lead, but once you have the lead, if on average you can generate more than one additional sale off of that one sale, then you kind of have you have an engine.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I read the next question already, and I was going to shout out Brad then.
Uh, we'll shout him out
So
again.
good call.
So yeah, Dean, question here from Dean. And David, thank you for the question, by the way. Dean asked any experience with radius marketing through regular direct mail based on a 5 mile or 7 mile radius of current projects and job sites.
So I've got some experience with it, and I can tell you that strategy. If your strategy is to just pick a 5 mile radius and blast that 5 mile radius with with a letter 1 or 10, it probably doesn't matter. It's not worth your money. Excuse me. The best way to do direct mail is if you've got a job site, you pick those houses in that community, on the same block, maybe the street over where they've seen you driving around the block, and then hit them instead of hitting a 5 mile radius, hit this 50 house region with 7 or 8 pieces of mail. Hitting, say 1,000 or however many houses would be in a 5 mile radius. Where I live, it's probably still 1,000. Like it's still a bunch. Hitting them with 1 or 2 pieces of mail is very, very inefficient. They're literally going to throw it away. But you're banking on that direct mail to trigger the effect that they saw your truck, they saw your sign in the yard. Hopefully, you hung a door hanger or something, on their door, possibly. And now they're getting direct mail from you, and they're getting it for 2 months, like once a week for 2 months. They keep getting this letter from this Rainstoppers Roofing company. What the heck? Like I keep seeing these guys everywhere. That's the goal. The goal is not. I tried the 5 to 7 mile radius. We had these communities that we were just for some reason weren't selling in. And when I say communities, they're cities, zip code. I picked the whole zip code, and I think the one was like 7,000 houses. We got zero leads off of those. I mean, spent a freaking boatload of money and got zero leads. And it's just not real efficient because they probably haven't seen you in town. They don't know you. They just throw the shit in the trash. So you have to be very, very intentional with direct mail for it to work. It's a touchy one. Like it's got to be super intentional.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree. So we already had an integration with Dope Marketing for ProLine, but they're launching an integration on their side, which we're really excited about. And Dope Marketing has a system built in for this that it's called Neighborhood Blast, and not in my opinion, that is the best way to consistently do direct mail is using. So they have it automated. So you give them the address and it just sends to everyone on the street or everyone within like a certain like 2 blocks or something like that, and it sends it And that can be automated with ProLine. So at each stage, when the job is sold, when the job is completed, when the job is paid, you can, as many points in your process as you want, you can send it off to them and to send it off to Dope Marketing, and they'll run that campaign, that neighborhood campaign for you.
So Dean brought up another point, and I'm pretty sure this is the same Dean that owns Smart Tarps. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe me and him just had a conversation like a week ago because I just made a pretty good size order of Smart Tarps, and I am so freaking excited, dude! I can't wait. Like, but he's exactly right. That's the so Smart Tarps to me is the freaking neighborhood billboard, dude. Like, have you seen them yet, AJ? Have you seen these
I
things?
haven't. I haven't.
Oh my God! So
I'm
I think they're,
You're gonna have to
and I
convert
could
me
be
because
wrong
I'm a
on this.
catch-all guy.
I've always been a catch-all guy, and I still won't say that I'm not a catch-all guy. It has its place in the world, but my guys are very good about keeping a clean job site and doing those things already. Like, even even if we cover the AC unit with a sheet of plywood, we make sure that the bushes, we don't pitch shingles off the roof and the landscape. Like, we already do those things. So the catch-all is kind of like, for us, it's a little bit extra, I guess. But it also, I love it. I'm not knocking it one bit. It's a fantastic product. But for us, it's a little over the top for what we're trying to do. The goal for us is marketing. Like, we want everybody in the neighborhood to know who the hell is on that roof,
Hmm.
And so I think smart tarps are fairly new. They're new to me. I know that. Um,
The logo is a lot bigger on a smart
it's
tarp.
the
I'm
entire
looking at the
tarp, dude.
website. Yeah.
It's literally like the entire tarp. So with the catch-all, although it's a great product, the marketing behind it is a little bit inefficient because
Mhm.
it's a banner, like a 2 foot by 6 foot banner, something like that, maybe 2 by 8, something like that,
Yeah.
and it velcros to one of the tarps. And I mean, it never fails. I show up to a job site or I see pictures, the tarp or the banner's all wrinkled up and shit because it's stuck to the Velcro goofy, and it's just, and it's not huge. These smart tarps, it's literally, it's a similar style tarp from my understanding, but it is also the size of a billboard. Like, the ones I just ordered are 20 by 30 feet. Like, and I think the actual print part is like on the one, it's 30 feet wide by maybe 16 foot tall of a billboard. I mean, literally, that's the size of a billboard you drive by on the
Yeah.
highway.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm hanging a freaking billboard from the gutter, hanging over the front of this house. Like, you can't not know what's going on there. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
I'm so pumped. I can't wait.
I like it. All right. All right, Dean. I got my eye on smart tarps. I'm partially converted. I'm I'm
They
friends with
both
some
have their
other
place in the
catch-all
world,
people,
right?
but
There's one that I think is more geared towards job site cleanup and protection of the job site. That's more
yeah.
the gear of the catch-all.
Yeah.
And then Smart Tarp is a little more geared to the marketing and advertising side. So
It
they
looks
both
like,
have their place in the world. It's just they both have their pros and cons, I guess.
yeah, depending on the priorities. It's still, to me, it looks like there's pretty solid protection with smart tarps though, because
I I'm excited to test them. I will tell you
yeah.
that. As soon as I get my hands on them, I will report back. But I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm excited to hear back from you on that, hear updates on that. All right. We got A Escobar. I'm not sure what A stands for, but thank you for your question. What was a mistake you made that was actually a big learning experience? I'm assuming this is directed primarily at you, Scott.
Oh shit! I've had so many, like so many. I've always said, like, I didn't go to college. Um, I didn't really like do any paid education whatsoever that most people, normally consider. But my God, did I pay for an education? So many times, so many mistakes. I can think of one recently that happened last winter. We got an opportunity to work for a company that we had wanted to try to do business with for a long time. We had bid and bid and bid for these guys. It's a local GC. They're a big GC company, and we do commercial work. So we've always wanted, and you can put shingles on a commercial building or a residential building. It's still putting shingles on, right? So anyway, they had this really nice big steel structure building. They got a metal roof, standing seam metal roof. They were in a pinch and asked me to do it. So I said, absolutely. We bid it. We negotiated down because they needed me to stay on a certain budget. I did. Long story short, it was a little bit out of our comfort zone. It was something we probably shouldn't have taken on. Um, the mistake was working for a general contractor. For me, I'll never do it again. I'll never work for a GC again. Um, working for a homeowner or a building owner or anything like that, and when it's a roofing specific project, not new construction with 10 other companies on the job site all the time, the whole thing was just a complete cluster for us. It was a nightmare. We lost, I don't even want to tell you, tens of thousands of dollars on this project. They supplied the material. We were short material multiple times, and I'm not blaming them. Could have been our fault, but it was just one. The job was supposed to take 8 weeks. It took 4 months, and then we ended up parting ways before the job was even over. I asked him. I said, "Look, I can't work for you guys anymore. I can't do this anymore. You are absolutely unreasonable. How do we get out of this relationship?" And so we took even less money to end the relationship because I was so tired of dealing with it. So yeah, that's a recent mistake. Don't take on shit in the wintertime that isn't your cup of tea just to stay busy, because that was essentially what we were doing, was taking on a little something out of our comfort zone just to stay busy and try to be profitable in the winter. I can tell you this winter, not a chance. We're not going to do it again.
That is, yeah, that is good. It's real tough during the wintertime to resist that. Good. So instead of taking other stuff, Scott, are you doing Christmas lights?
Dude, I've got my Christmas lights up at my house. I did them yesterday.
Yeah. You gonna sell it? You gonna
Hell
sell
no,
it?
I ain't gonna sell it. We still roof right up till like January 1st. So there's
Oh,
like,
that's fair.
it's that's
Yeah.
a very, very northern
It's
service for
super
roofers.
northern. Yeah.
I am far enough south. We get very little snow. I mean, we might collectively get 10 inches of snow a year or something like that. Like, it's very little.
Yeah.
So the problem is like my roofing season, our season usually ends we always right about Christmas is the main
January
season's
begins.
over, and then we trickle some work into the 1st of January. But yeah, I'm not going to stop roofing to go put up Christmas lights. It doesn't make sense for me. But we looked at it. It just doesn't add up.
Um, yeah. That's Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. We just built out in ProLine a pre-built Christmas light template, quote template, and campaign. So it's now possible to just pull those in. They're all pre-built, pull them into your account. So I was excited about that. But I guess yeah, it's not super relevant unless you're already slowing down.
Yeah, you got to be
So
north enough to where your season's ending early to mid November. Michigan, and then up in the northern panhandle, that's the areas you got to be in.
yeah, makes sense. So second here, a question here from Escobar. What, so I guess if you're not taking on like jobs you're uncomfortable with, and if you're not doing Christmas lights, what are other things you can do when business slows down?
Training. That's all. Our whole focus this winter is. I feel like people. I think there's a little bit of misguided, attention here. The goal is we're fortunate in a way that we do have a season off. Like we get this 2 months Yeah, it's not profitable time, but you've had all these issues. I don't care how good you are, you have issues all year long, or there's all kinds of opportunities to grow and get better. Like there's always ways to improve profits, improve sales, improve financing. So on our table this winter, financing, I signed up for Scoville's Improve-A-Fi financing courses. That's one of our big items this winter. I'm putting everyone on my team through that finance training to where I hope that they are as well versed in financing as Chris Scoville by the end of it. Like that's my goal is to where they truly, truly understand how to finance. I mean, I don't even know some of the words that they talk about. Like, you know, I just learned what unsecured was. I don't know what the hell that shit is. I always pay cash. You know what I mean? I don't care about unsecured. What's that? So, if you don't understand it, you can't sell it. So my point is like we do get this gift of a slow point where we have all this opportunity to grow, get better, educate, go get certified with your your GAF or your Owens Corning guy, or go get certified with a flat roof company. Go to some trainings, and then there's seminars. Like IRE's coming up in February. I know we're going to that. So Top Rep is out in Arizona in the first week of March. Still pretty slow at that time. I think we're going to try to hit that one up. So there's a lot of opportunity in the winter that to make next year really profitable.
Yep. Yep. I think I think I would, I'd play devil's advocate and say, well, what if you're out of money? Because ideally you've made enough money to where you can afford to do that. And I like that approach. It's like if you've made the money, so you're in a position where you can float for a couple months, the best thing you can do to optimize your next season is train and get the systems in place, sign up for new things, switch your CRM if you need to switch your CRM. Um, but what if you're not in a position? What if you get to November, it slows down, and you realize you don't have enough money to make it through to February or March when it warms back
Uh,
up?
I was in that position up until pretty much last year. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like that's not always the case where it's float yourself through winter. But um, the one thing I would tell you not to do again is take on sizable projects that you're not comfortable with. Like the one I took on. That was a huge mistake. The year before that, or like 2 years before that, we were still doing like a little bit of everything from time to time. We took on a big room addition on a house, and we did it over winter. And that damn thing drug out to the end of April, and we missed 2 solid months of roofing season because we're dicking with this stupid room addition that we had to put trim in and cabinets and floors and plumbing and all that. And it's like so. Not only did the project make little to nothing at the end of it because we just weren't real good at it again. Um, we weren't efficient at it. We did a nice job. We just couldn't do it in a timely manner. We weren't efficient at it, but now we just lost a ton of opportunity in roofing where we know we make profit consistently. So, if you want to find something to do to go make a little change, find small stuff to do. Find a hobby that pays you a wage. You know what I mean? That's what I would find. If that's picking up a tractor with a snow plow on it and going around plowing snow, or I mean, if you're south of me at all, you can roof a little bit even through the hard winter months. We still roof in the winter. We'll put metal on in January and February. You know, 4, 5, 6 jobs a month. Not a lot, but we'll do a few. That keeps all my sales guys happy to where they still get a little bit of a paycheck through the winter months. So there's opportunities to make some money if you're willing to go hustle for it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta hustle, you know. Sometimes you just gotta make it work.
Yeah, I think if there's anything you can do, and it doesn't matter if it's the busy season or the slow season, you just gotta hustle, dude. Like if you want to make money, uh, there's a lot of years of just ass busting, hustling that's got to happen before you start coasting. I just hit a point where I feel like I can coast a little bit. You know, but that's 10 years. I grinded for 9 solid years, and now I finally get to take some time off. But you got to hustle.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. Um, Dean, got your message. I'll be emailing you either later tonight or tomorrow. Um, and thanks for the question, Escobar. Um, all right. So, um, we got a little bit more time here. So if unless anybody else has any questions, we'll go back to our list.
Did you vote yet?
Oh yeah, I voted. I voted
Good.
to I voted to make roofing great again.
I got my hat.
Yeah. Those are great hats at
Those were
RoofCon.
good hats. That was funny. It wasn't as
Yeah.
good as the Hooters hat though. That guy, that was good. Did you see those?
I did not see the Hooters hat.
Okay,
Oh,
so
wait. It just said roof on it.
it
Is
just
that
says
what it is?
roofers instead of Hooters. Like
Uh,
but it's the same logo, same lettering and everything. It is hilarious. I love it.
that's hilarious. Yeah, that is good. That is good. Yeah, hopefully things don't get too crazy next week. But time will tell. Time will tell. I feel like there could be some rioting. This is messed up, but I was talking to a mentor that's an advisor, business advisor, and he's like the crazier it gets, because being in the roofing industry, it's like the crazier it gets, the better roofers do, if bombs start dropping from the sky, it's just more work for roofers.
I don't think that's how it works. They probably, yeah, I don't think they understand the roofing business entirely. That's not how that works.
Yeah, just roof over
No,
it.
yeah, I don't think that's how it goes. No, I mean, hopefully, here's how I feel about it. No matter what, next year will be better than this year. That's my opinion. No matter what,
Hope
next year will
so.
be better than this year because the fear of the election is gone. I've been
Yeah,
in business
true.
10 years, so I've went through a couple elections. Not that that's a long time, but I've went through a couple election cycles.
Yeah.
It never fails. Election year, contracting business is always slow. People, because not other than like emergency plumbing services or stuff like that, like nothing's mandatory. Even roofing, you can go patch some shit up for $20 with Flex Seal at Lowe's that gets you by for a month or two. You know what I mean? Like there's things you can do to where you don't have to go dip into your funds to do that, and that's what people do during election year. They'll nickel and dime to death, and then as soon as the election's over, they spend their money anyway. Like I am a firm believer that recessions are just a mentality. It's not a real thing. Like recessions happen because of fear. Like everybody gets scared, so they hold on to their money. Everybody still got their money. They just quit spending it. Like I think recessions are created by people being scared.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I agree with you. I think no matter what, things should be better next year than this year
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no matter
gotta
what
hope.
happens.
It was a rough year. We still did okay, but it was just like fuck,
Yeah,
man. We had to pull teeth to get hit anywhere close to our goals. So
yeah,
last year we exceeded our goal in October. You know what I mean? And this year it's like, God damn, I mean, we're not going to get there, guys. So anyway, yeah, hopefully.
yep, yep. Um, time will tell. Time will tell. Esquire just says, "Thanks, guys. Absolutely, 100% here to help." I'm looking for pretty much all the questions I have on the list are like taking us down a completely different path. Um, we'll do one more question from our list here, to kind of finish things off. So, um, talking about reviews. So this is relevant to reviews, but the question is what's the best way to gather client feedback at the end of a roofing project?
Use ProLine and use the review follow up. So I do two things. We do a review follow up, and then I also do a feedback after the estimate. If we sell the job, we close the job, get paid, we start sending some review follow up, asking for a 5-star review. Here's our link to our GMB. You get one click, you're in your Google profile, leave a review, move on. Whether it's 5 stars or 1 star, doesn't matter. Here's your opportunity to express your feelings about our company. But the other thing I do that I have found I don't get tons of feedback, which I was really surprised, but I do get good feedback when I get it. Is when I move somebody to the lost stage. So like they have confirmed that they chose another contractor, they're no longer in the market for a roofing contractor. We'll move them to lost. And when we do that, I have an automation that goes out from me personally to any of the sales guys, potential clients, that says, "Hey, this is Scott Tebay with Rainstoppers Roofing, or I'm the owner of Rainstoppers Roofing. I saw that you decided not to work with us on your roofing project. No problem at all. Just would love to hear your feedback about the experience with us uh, during your estimate," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I have, and that's kind of given some opportunity for growth. You know, that's a way to kind of gauge the sales reps quality of job during their appointment. It's not like I'm going out and watching these appointments. But I give every customer an opportunity to give me personal feedback on what their experience was up to that point. And like I said, I'm surprised I don't get more, which I have found I very rarely get good feedback. I get some. I know this sounds terrible, but this is just how reviews work also. But the 1 in 100 appointments that we go to I actually get feedback from. Most of them are pricks that are just not being nice. Like they got something pretty nice, but that's okay. I'm able to take that to the guy and say, "Hey, why did this happen? Why is this guy upset?" One of them recently said that we tried to screw him. I'm like, "How did we try to screw you?" "Well, your price was twice as high as anybody else. You guys are a bunch of con artists, blah, blah." I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, our price is set at 35% gross margin. We're not screwing anybody. Like, that's fair, But regardless, we let them speak their piece, and then we made sure not to ask them for any kind of Google reviews. So
He did sign with you, but then was complaining about the
no, no,
price
no.
after?
This was a lost customer that didn't
Oh,
sign
okay.
with us,
Yeah.
and she got that opportunity to kind of speak her piece, and that's fine. Like if that's how you felt, no problem. Glad we parted ways, but again, it's a way to kind of get customer feedback. My point to that whole thing was, just like Google reviews, as hard as it is to get a good one, if you screw up just a little bit, it's not hard at all to get a bad one. People are much, much more um, likely to leave you a shitty review for doing a bad job than they are to leave you a great review for doing a good job. So that's just the way it is. So, but that's it. I mean, we get great feedback from both of those tools.
Yep. Yep, makes sense. Um, this is reminding me that I want to do some tweaking to the review page that we have in ProLine. Um, but that's neither here nor there. It still works great as it is.
It's
But that's
literally
what
my
it is.
favorite. I would say it might be my favorite piece of that software, and it's such a simplistic thing. But like I said, in the last week, I've gotten 7 5-star Google reviews. We've probably only done 12 or 14 jobs, so I'm 50% good 5-star reviews on my projects. Like,
It's huge.
that's insane. Nobody's doing that. No other way are you getting that many 5-star Google reviews. No way.
Well, you're with the automations of ProLine are coming from the sales rep they have a relationship with, right?
Yep. And the way we have it worded, that's the golden goose. It's not some bullshit phone number sending these automations. It's that same phone number that they've been communicating with, that they made a relationship, that they handed the check to. It's that phone number communicating with them, and we have it wrote up. It says, "Hey, Mr. Customer, uh, really appreciate if you'd leave us a 5-star review. Please mention my name in the review. I get evaluated off of the amount of reviews I get, or something along those lines." Um, Now that customer feels invested in you. Help them as the sales rep. You made sure they're taken care of. The project was done right. It was done in a timely manner. Blah blah blah. Now you're asking for a favor in return, and they feel somewhat obligated to return that favor. We don't honestly, we don't evaluate shit off 5-star reviews. Don't get me wrong. I always call my guys like, "Hey, you got one?" Like, to pump them up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know if my guys are doing good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that to judge it, but it does incentivize the customer to kind of pay that favor.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. I like that approach a lot. Um, yeah. I mean, there's just there's no other way except with ProLine to set that up like that. I mean, you could
Mm-hmm.
try another system, but it's not gonna. People are gonna be are not gonna believe this. Believe the message when it's like this is your sales rep, but it's from some number they don't recognize. Um. So it's just that context.
So I know we're about to wrap up, and your questions are getting skinny. So I got two things that I would bring up here to wrap things up if you want.
Yeah.
That came up today in our mastermind group that we run. Um, One of them's Perlin related, so I'll just hit that one first. So we were talking about, we have a guy, one of the guys in our mastermind group. He is currently not a ProLine user. That's fine, not a problem. But he was looking for some advice on, because he's looking at maybe making a change. So I told him, I said, I just brought up one feature, and I thought this was funny because the guys got a good kick out of it because they're like, "Oh my god, that makes so much sense." So because in your quoting in ProLine, when they go to sign, we have it set up very simply that there's two drop down menus. We send them a shingle roof quote. There's two drop down menus. To sign, they have to select each one of these drop down menus. One is shingle color, one is drip edge color. Our number one reason for a callback of like a large scale, not just something like some debris not picked up, but a large scale callback has always been drip edge color every time. At one point, I swear to God, it was once a month. We put the wrong drip edge color on, or at least delivered the wrong drip edge color and got caught prior to installation. I told them guys, I said, every time that happens, that we would install the wrong color, it's literally like a $2,000 bill. Because by the time you buy all new drip edge for the house and then pay the crew to go remove it, remove the shingles that are up the rakes, install new, and then reinstall those shingles, it's $2,000. I told that guy, I said, just that feature alone compensates my ProLine bill. Just that one feature. Like, and they all get a good kick out of it. So I thought I'd pass that on to you to make you feel good. But
I appreciate
something
that.
that
Yeah.
small, it really does, because it works for a true roofing company. It makes that big of an impact. So, and we don't have this humongous headache, because what a headache that is when that happens. Um,
It's the little things.
those little things are just so critical. They're so critical. And nobody else is doing those things. Like, you have to have that stuff. It just saves you a ton of time, money, headache, the whole deal. The other thing we were talking about, guys, and I'm included, we as roofers we are like obligated to sell gutters. It's just, it kind of comes with the turf, unfortunately, because I know a huge, including me, we don't have in-house gutter crews. And most roofing subs don't do gutter, so it's an additional, it's an additional company to work with. It's an additional step in the process. For us, our gutter guy is always a week or two behind our installers, so that $20,000 project is being the payout from it's being held up by a $1,500 gutter job for say 2 weeks. It kills cash flow. Um, Especially for us, we don't take deposits, so it really, really, just puts a damper on cash flow. So we had come up with something a while back ago, and I never really shared it with anybody in our group just because it hadn't got brought up. But we came up with a free gutter tune-up. So the gutter tune-up, if you've already got seamless gutters on your house, which if you've got seamless gutters, they essentially can't go bad unless they get like damaged by a tree or something. Like there's nothing for them to leak other than the end caps or the miters. So our gutter tune-up is we're already cleaning the gutters after we do the roof installation. We already cleaned them out. So we can go through and we just caulk each joint in the miters and in the end caps and around the downspout drops. And we give that away for free. It doesn't cost us nothing. It costs us a tube of caulking. And it saves us now. Now, what we do is try to upsell leaf guards. So now we've given you the free gutter tune-up. Would you be interested in this? These leaf guards are $1,200, but now you won't have to worry about, those gutters are sealed, they're in good shape, and you've got a little money left over. You thought you needed gutters, you don't. Would you? And leaf guards are crew installs, and it comes on the ABC truck with the shingles. It's absolutely no more work on our part to upsell that extra $1,200 to $1,500, and it doesn't hold up cash flow. So I feel like that was actually Zach that I hired up in Morgantown kind of came up with that. And I mean, I think that is such a fantastic thing to offer to try to, we'll sell gutter. It's fine. We'd just rather not have to, that's the thing. If we can offer you something as good or better and not, you don't have to spend the money on it. We don't have to have the headache of it. It's a kind of a win-win.
Yeah. Makes sense. Good way to round it out.
Cool.
So, all right. We'll wrap up there. But thanks to everybody for joining us. And appreciate Scott. Appreciate you and all the insight you bring to the table. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.